Hi guys, James at Rampant Lion Reviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to head down to Manchester in England once again, and we've got a beer that I'm really quite excited to try. So for this one we're going to return it to Cloudwater, and we all know the reputation that these guys have. Pretty much anything they touch seems to be gold dust, but for this one we're having a look at another one of their double IPAs. So this one is the Centennial edition. I believe this one was released in June of 2017 this year. And very recently, of course, they changed the double IPAs. They're starting to do ones with different hops in them now, whereas before it was a new one. They were releasing the V1, V2, I think they got all the way up to V13 if I'm not mistaken actually, but they always seem to produce a new double IPA every month. And if you watch the English guys that do the beer tubing thing as well, like Craig, Harry, Dean, Jaco and all of these sort of people, Rob as well, they really rave about some of the Cloudwater beers. So they're a very good standard, but this is only my third dedicated review I've been able to do to these guys. I've done a couple of collaborations of course as well, the one with Dugas Brewery over in Gothenburg, but it's not often I get to try these beers, so it is always a bit of a special occasion when I do manage to get a hold of one. So as always, I hope you guys enjoy my take on this beer. Looking forward to it. So anyway, as is usual with my beer reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. If you want to get straight to the tasting, of course, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my other reviews I've done from Cloudwater before. No doubt there will be some more in the near future. There's all the usual social media. If you want to see more beer reviews, do please consider subscribing to the channel. The whole channel, of course, has a geography-based tagging system, so you can go into the homepage and search for beer based on country, city or state, whatever it is you're interested in. Do check out the playlist of beers from different countries. There is one there for all the English beers that I've reviewed for you, and that's constantly being added to. And as always, please do get in touch and let me know any other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review. It's always great to hear from you guys, and the support that you give the channel is hugely appreciated. So anyway, to tell you a little bit about Cloudwater then. So as I've told you before, Cloudwater Brew Company were founded back in early 2015 by Paul Jones and James Campbell after the latter left Marble Brewing Company, another very good brewery from Manchester by all accounts. I still need to try one of their beers. But they were also joined by Al Wall and Will France, who had a wealth of experience both in home brewing, professional brewing and also in bar management as well. So they actually signed a lease for one of the archways in Manchester, and this allowed them to age and sour a number of their beers at a capacity of 200 barrels at any one time. But the brewing began in March of 2015 in Manchester, and they officially opened their brew pub in early April that year. But they started off with a 2,400 litre brew kit, but they had enough floor space at the time to double their capacity. I believe they've done that now, and they are still kind of constantly expanding. They're a very, very popular brewery. They're one of these whale breweries. I'm not actually sure if you can get Cloudwater beers outside of the UK at the moment. I think it's only in Scotland, England and Wales. I don't even know if you can get them in the Republic of Ireland, but these guys are a very highly rated brewery, one of the best, or one of the most highly rated breweries that you're going to find in England these days. And in my experience, the beers do tend to be very, very good. And of course the English beer tubers, like as I said, Harry, Craig, Dean, Rob, all of these sort of people, Jaco as well, they are able to keep you far more up to date with the English beer scene than I am, of course. But if you get the chance to try some Cloudwater beers, I highly recommend that you do. The last one I tried from these guys, I think, was the DIPA version 9, which was a couple of months back. I think that might have been when I was home at Christmas time in 2016 that I got to try that. But as I always say, cool to try these beers whenever I get the chance. So I hope you guys enjoy my take on this one then. So I'll just let you have a little look at the artwork on this one quickly. Of course, since I last did a review, I'm sure the last one I had was still bottled actually, but this is the first Cloudwater beer that I'm having in the can. And of course these double IPAs that they do tend to have very simple artwork on them. So this one comes in at 9% ABV. I think it was a 98 that this one had overall on Rate Beer, or a 97, something like that, but very highly rated nonetheless. And it says on the back here, introducing our first large batch double IPA, an Imperial IPA inspired with modern West Coast IPAs, double IPAs with low yeast ester presentation to let the aroma hops shine. Centennial in the Whirlpool with Amarillo, Centennial and Simcoe in dry hop with this one, and the yeast on this one is WLP001. So yeah, should be quite an interesting one. This Piccadilly Trading Estate, Manchester. So yeah, nicely presented. And I guess without further ado, we can get this guy out and get on with the tasting then. I did actually manage to try the Cloudwater double IPA Citra. I tried that when Rob came over to Copenhagen. I think he, Peter and I did a sort of review that went on Peter's channel for that one, so you might see me reviewing that beer over on the Master of Hoppets channel. Very nice chap, Peter, of course, so if you haven't already, make sure you check out his channel. But as you would expect from this beer, it's poured a really nice kind of hazy sort of fruit juice colour, this one. It's definitely got a nice little bit of orangey colour to it. You can smell some of these tangerine notes actually. I can definitely pick up some of the Amarillo coming off this beer just as it comes out, and there's a nice lemony citrus in there too. Centennial, of course, it tends to give you a nice sort of lemony character and a bit of a spicy floral aromatic note. You do tend to get a bit of grapefruit from it as well in my experience, but it's a really nice smelling hop, and you can just smell these light fruity esters coming off the beer. But as I was saying, it's a nice kind of bright orange colour. It leans a little bit more towards the yellow side of things, I would say. Just bring it right up to the camera to let you see the colour there. But it looks really quite nice. You can see it best about here. There's a solid finger of a frothy white head on this one. There are some bigger bubbles in that head though, I would say. One or two big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass, and quite a few little ones just going up towards the bottom of that head there. And I've just seen there's a wee hair on my glass, so we'll get rid of that just now. But yeah, really nice looking beer. So let's take a closer look at the aroma then and see how we get on. Oh yeah. That's a really quite nice smelling beer, I have to say that. It smelt really nice from far away, and when you go in a little bit closer, it definitely kind of keeps up that reputation. So, yeah. You've got that, you can definitely smell that kind of sweetness that you expect from these sort of New England kind of hazy style IPAs. You can definitely get that nice oaty and sort of bready character. There's almost a little bit of a biscuity sweetness in there as well. But definitely, the Centennialness, as you would expect, the Centennial really is the one that's kind of jumping out in this at you. You can pick up a little bit of passion fruit from the Simcoe. There is a wee bit of orange from the Amarillo. So you can pick up a little bit of that, but really it's the Centennial, as you would expect, and as the name would suggest, that's coming out on this one. So to me, it has almost a little bit of a kind of lemon sherbety thing going on with it. You can smell that. The oranges and the passion fruits do give it a little bit more of that juicy character. It's not quite as sharp a lemon as you might expect, but it's definitely got that nice juicy character to it. The malt base helps with that, of course, the biscuity notes and these kind of nice sort of bready oaty kind of characters that the beer has. And there's definitely a good bit of floral character in there. You can smell just a little bit of that almost spicy floral aromatic note, but it does lean more towards the juicy side of things more than anything else, this beer. There's a wee bit of grassy note as well, but overall it smells like a nice juicy kind of inviting IPA, this one. It smells really nice. So as I always say, just take a little bit of time and mull over the aroma of your beer before you actually get stuck into it. That's half the experience when it comes to craft beer, of course. But without further ado then, let's actually get stuck into this beer. So this one is the double IPA Centennial from Cloudwater Brewing Company down in Manchester. Once again, thank you for watching the channel, and I hope you enjoy my take on this beer. Slàinte. Yeah. It's pretty good actually, and one thing that's interesting for me is to try the Centennial on its own, because it's not often, in an IPA at least, that you're going to find that hop on its own. I've found quite often it tends to be used as a bittering hop, mainly because of that nice sort of spicy floral character that it has, and that's coming out in abundance in the taste in this one. You can really pick that up straight away with this beer. But yeah, that's pretty damn good. And this, of course, it really does, if you like a big sort of spicy floral IPA, this one's really going to suit you down to the ground. It's got a great amount of flavour, and that kind of dominates the palate actually, that big spicy floral character. There are some fruits and things in there, but really for me, that spicy floral aromaticity around the edge of your palate is the real the dominant partner in this beer. So yeah, we'll go through it as we always do then. So with this one, as you would expect, it's got this nice kind of, it's got this sort of nice bready kind of character to it, that pale bready malt. I'm sure it actually tells you the malt base in here, so it's got golden promise on it, wheat malts, oats and dextrose as well. So yeah, it has that, it'll give you that kind of white, wheaty, bready character. You can pick up that in there. To me, this one doesn't seem as smooth in the malt base as some of the other ones I've had. I guess that's what they're saying. They're actually starting to use Golden Promise quite a lot in a number of their beers, and you can get just a little bit of a kind of grainy character in there as well. You can definitely pick that up on this one, but you can get a little bit of the oaty sweetness, and there is almost a little bit of a kind of biscuity quality in there as well. But the sort of biscuity note that the beer has. That kind of, it's almost complemented a little bit by the kind of a little bit of that sweetness that I was talking about from the oatiness, but the big spicy floral character that it has, that kind of helps bring out a little bit of the grainy note as well. But yeah, that's pretty damn good. And I mean, when I do get the chance to taste these beers, I do see why all the English beer tubers really rave about these ones. They do some top quality stuff. This one certainly is no different. So yeah, on the hoppy side of things, as you'd expect, in the back corner of the palate there's a wee tiny little bit of some, there's a little touch of earthiness there, but as you come further forward, the beer just builds and you get that big floral aromatic character that comes out of this one. It's definitely a spicy floral aromaticity. As I said, that's the distinctive feature of the Centennial hop for me. It's not resinous. I don't find it pine resiny. It's always the Chinook that I find to be more pine resiny. But this one, it's more of a spicy floral aromatic character. You can feel it, and you get a good bit of bitterness on the front corner of your palate. As you go round the front curve of the tongue, you get that lighter sort of grassy ester that you would expect of this one, and the fruits in this are quite interesting as well. To me, this beer, it sort of strikes me, I always talk about this in my IPA reviews, there's a lot of these kind of new wave hops such as Mosaic and things, and the New Zealand hops as well, that give you a more juicy character. But there are the more old school ones like kind of Cascade, Centennial and Amarillo and stuff like that. They give you a little bit more of a kind of oily note, I would say. Citra and Simcoe fit into the more juicy bracket, in my opinion at least. But this one is really quite interesting. So as I always say, if you just go behind the front curve of your palate, you'll feel that little oily bubble there. And that's where these nice fruity esters start to come out of the beer. So for me, there's a bit of grapefruit just kind of underpinning that. And on top of that, you start to get some of these nice kind of lemony notes actually. It's quite a dark lemon character that I'm getting from this one, but as you move further and further into the aftertaste, you can pick up a little bit of the passion fruit, I think. I'm starting to get a little bit of the Simcoe out of this one, and that's that nice kind of juicy passion fruit coming out of the beer. There is maybe a little bit of a lighter orange note as well, which will of course be the Amarillo, but really the fruity character in this one is a bit darker. It's the grapefruits and the lemons for me that are kind of dominating the fruity side of this beer. But take nothing away from this, this is a pretty damn good beer. And you know, the rating it has on Rate Beer isn't always going to be completely accurate, but I think, you know, the 97 98 that this one has is probably about right. It's a really good double IPA, but maybe it doesn't quite go up into the, you know, the kind of top 10 and things like that I've had. But yeah, it's really quite nice. And the other one that I'm thinking of is the Citra one that I had before. And I did like the Citra one a little bit better, because I do like it when you've got a nice bit of bitterness, but then the beer just mellows out and gives you some more of the juicy characters. This one for me stays quite floral and quite bitter, and you do get just a little bit of that juicy note, but it doesn't mellow out quite in the same way as the Citra one did from memory. But take nothing away from it, it's a damn good beer. If you're going to try this, you will be pretty impressed with it. It's really nice. In terms of the mouthfeel of this one, I would say it's mid-body. The carbonation is very smooth. It's got that typical kind of smooth New England kind of mouthfeel to it. It's got a little bit of creaminess. It has a little bit of oily character, this one as well. There's a good bit of hoppy bitterness. It's not going to blow your head in terms of IBUs, of course. The malt base has a little bit of smoothness to it, but at the same time, it does have a wee bit of biscuity sweetness, I would say. And then you've got these nice kind of juicy sort of fruity notes to it as well, but it's quite a dark fruity character that comes out of this one. But that of course is part and parcel of the Centennial hop. And like I said, one of the real novelties of this beer is that Centennial, in my experience, tends to be used as a bittering hop, so to see it kind of take the forefront in an IPA is a little bit of a novelty. So you can really enjoy those kind of spicy floral notes and that bit of grapefruity lemon that you get from this. But as I said, it's another very, very solid beer from Cloudwater, and with the reputation that these guys have, you know, you try beers like this and it kind of justifies it. If they can do a new recipe or play with a new hop blend and things like that and put out a double IPA like this every month, you know, kudos to them. You have to give them a thumbs up for that. So another very, very solid beer from Cloudwater then. So yeah, there's not really much more to say about this beer. So once again, thank you for watching my beer reviews. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Do check out my social media. If you have tried this beer before, do let me know your own thoughts on it in the comment section below. As I said, it's always great to hear from you guys. Let me know what your favourite beers are from Cloudwater as well, and hopefully I can review a few more of these for you over the next little while. But it's been really cool to return to Cloudwater after a couple of months, and I will try and keep up with the Cloudwater releases over the next year when I'm based in Durham. So yeah, thank you once again for watching, and I will catch you guys very soon. The double IPA Centennial from Cloudwater Brewing Company down in Manchester in England. Slàinte just now.